give a warm round of applause for
King Andile, mama,
And he captures the moment.
King Andile, mama,
And it is extraordinary.
Victor Kiwani. Well, you got the principle?
Just like a fish in the water enjoying AFCON. I watched SABC 3, there was a game, SABC 1, same game. I'm like, indeed it's live. Live. Everywhere you go is live.
Remember that you can catch every single one of those games on SABC Sport. Let's go to the other third of this team. He's all the way in Abidjan.
Bonsoir, Mazola.
Bonsoir, Monso, Victor, principal.
Comment ça va?
No, I haven't gone that far.
Mazola, I hear you talking about traffic. Is there no escort?
Not for me, Victor.
I'm coming. You get an escort. Don't worry. I'm coming. Let's The reason you're here, of course, is you would know this Mali team. You've played against them. You've studied them. You know our Bafana team. Whenever we play Mali, that photo resurfaces. What do? Do you laugh as well?
I laugh when I see that picture.
And now presenting GQ Man of the Year 2023, 2024, and 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, help me present to you Untitled Movement!
Sky is the limit, and I know that you can have what you want, be what you want, have what you want, be what you want.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Game over.
It's exactly 7 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's the day after Bafana have qualified out of the groups into the last 16 of the Africa Cup of Nations, the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations 2023. Bafana qualifying in Group E, second place, to go face Morocco in their next game. Congratulations, man. Malcolm Awenzada. A big congratulations. There were naysayers, there were those that didn't believe. I mean, what they've done is the bare minimum. I agree. It's the bare minimum. Qualifying out of the groups is the bare minimum. But for a team that had many of their own countrymen not believe in their ability, making it out of the group stage, scoring 4 goals in a match against Namibia, going on to come second in the group is a big feat. And we wish them so much luck against Morocco. Remember, that game is going to be live on SABC Sport. Also, a big shout out. Naysayers who were naysaying Bafana were doing the same for SABC Sport. When we announced that we're going to be showing the games, we've shown every single game live. Even now with the double headers, when there's 2 games at the same time, SABC Sport proudly putting together a world-class, you hear me, production. And I just need to give them a big round of applause and congratulations to management all the way down to the technical producers, the floor managers, etc. You've done phenomenally well. So congratulations to Bafana there. And you can send your messages, of course, however it is that you feel about what Bafana have done or yet to do on 060-552-7303. Welcome to the show. It's Sports That Amplified with Andile. Thank you so much to Touch and the team. They do it again tomorrow between 3 and 6 for the last time this week. Today, nah? Yeah. I'm a little heartbroken. This is a story we started last week. I think it was last week Wednesday. Last week Wednesday we began to tell the story, and I just felt it was not right for the family to be rushed into telling the story. But remember this. Just I want you to hear this for me. Ntandokaise Buyekaya Kingsley Nkosi. Ntandokaise Buyekaya Nkosi. I want you to remember that name. Because here today, we're honoring Ntandokaise Buyekaya Nkosi. We're honoring his greatness that we will never know. We're honoring his amazingness that we will never get to know. But why is that? We're going to tell his story today. His mom, his father will be in studio, and we'll tell the story of Buyekaya and his trip home.
Submissions for this year's Metro FM Music Awards are now open.
And the winner is...
To enter, simply log on to www.metrofmmusicawards.co.za.
Make some beautiful noise!
For inquiries, email info@metrofm.co.za.
Yeah!
Metro FM.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody. It's bigger, it's better. The Metro FM Awards are back.
It's where you want to be.
It's the Pick n Pay Hypermarket's mega 3-day sale this weekend. Smart shoppers get assorted P&P 2-ply toilet tissue 18s for only R114.99 each. And 8kg HTH Granular Plus Mineral Soft Chlorine plus a 1.5kg paste floater, both for only R379.99. This Friday to Sunday, only at your Pick n Pay Hypermarket while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Enjoy the ultimate entertainment with Hollywood Bets' 25 Rand and 50 free spin sign-up bonus. Play games like Hot Hollywood Bets and more. Sign up today and take a spin with Hollywood Bets. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Welcome to Incredible. It's cover drives, high fives, and night skies, where bat meets ball meets prize. It's a family day out. It's bowlers steaming in. It's sixes disappearing. It's Betway SA20, and it's back for another season. Oh, it's another! Ticket sales are now open, so get yours at sa20.co.za. Welcome to Betway SA20. T's and C's apply.
Switch to new Spar Rewards and get a whole lot more with 3 days of even more from 26 to 28 January. Like 400-gram Lucky Star Pilchards. Buy any two for just 40 Rand. And 400ml Pantene shampoo or conditioner. Buy any two for 99 Rand. New Spar Rewards. Sign up for more.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
Mark Haskins speaking about all things Bafana.
A trending question has also been around Everence Makgopa and his role in the team. If Everence Makgopa is not there, Thembazwane doesn't score the 2 goals that he did. Everence Makgopa, even though people may not see it, he's playing a massive role in this.
Explain that role. What is that role?
He allows the other players the space to play. But if Lepasa comes in, he's going to run into the areas where Percy Tau and Morena and Thembazwane need to operate.
Let's go to Silo. Silo's out in Pretoria. Silo.
I feel alright. You are supposed to give Lepasa a chance. We don't need Makgopa because Tunisia, they are good aerialists. So we need somebody who can hold the ball.
Lepasa is literally, he's a mobile striker. He's not back to goal striker. He wants to run. So he's not the kind of guy who's going to hold the ball up. I think Makgopa is better at that than Lepasa, and I think that's actually why he is playing ahead of Lepasa.
6 to 7 p.m.
It is 13 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's a Throwback Thursday. And on Throwback Thursdays, as we ease into the Throwback Thursdays for the year, so much football, of course, because of the Africa Cup of Nations, we've taken a seat back. But today, we begin just a little bit on touching on it. On Throwback Thursday, we tell stories here. Stories on people. People that would have otherwise never had their stories told, because we think every single person counts. And we enjoy and we love it when we get to give our flowers to people. And normally, we like to do so when they're in the studio with us. But today, the flowers we're giving, we have to lay. Because right here on Sports Night Amplified with Andy and the Mighty Metro, and we've told some amazing stories before. You can go to our Facebook page, you can go to our Twitter, as well as our Instagram and our TikTok pages, in fact. That is Sports Night Amplified with Andile, to see the amazing stories that we've told, etc., etc. Tonight, though, we have two parents that are going to be joining us, Moses Notela, to tell the story of their son. That's going to be coming up. But before that, Stephen de Kock needs to tell us what's happening in the tennis, yeah? Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Stephen de Kock is going to be on the line. We'll talk tennis.
The Metro FM Back to School Tour is back, coming to a city near you.
The kiddos are back at school, man.
Bringing you Metro FM's Back to School Tour with the Best Mornings team.
Right here on Best Mornings.
Catch your favorites, DJ Sabby and Candice Kardashian, broadcasting live from a school near you.
Needless to say, I went straight to detention.
The 26th of January, we will be at Maryfield Pre-Primary School and College in East London, followed up by Manor Gardens Primary School in Durban, KZN on the 2nd of February.
Do you have new classmates this year?
And wrapping it up on the 6th of February, we will be in Cape Town at the Grove Primary School.
Uncle Owen here. I've got a dad joke for you.
The Metro FM Back to School Tour with Best Mornings is where you want to be.
15 after the hour, 6 on a Throwback Thursday. We're going to go straight into it. But before that, we go into our story of the day. We have to touch base with Stephen Kock. Stephen de Kock now joins us on the line. Stephen, of course, is a tennis coach and analyst who's always here. Stephen, I think I have to take my L on this one and congratulate you. You got it spot on.
Thank you very much, Andile. You know, sometimes you get it right and sometimes you get it wrong. And this year I got it a little bit right. But I must say to you, I'm speaking to you out of this beautiful city of Cape Town, and man, oh man, isn't the weather beautiful? It's a pearl of the day. So yeah, very, very, very nice day here, and great day to talk tennis.
Well, let's go straight into it then. Carlos Alcaraz, a big shocker for many in this tournament, being knocked out.
Yes, you know, he came up against Zverev, and Zverev survived a little bit on that 16th round of 16 against Cameron Norrie. You know, a South African-born player, Cameron Norrie, gave him a fight, and Zverev clinched it in the fifth, decided tiebreaker, and I felt like he got like extra superpower after that, you know, because he played a flawless match and beat Alcaraz in 4. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just beating Alcaraz, but it's the manner that he beat him. 6-1, 6-3, 6-7, 6-4. I didn't expect it to be, I don't want to say that easy, but I mean, when you read those numbers, I didn't expect it to be not that difficult.
Yeah, I think after that Cameron Norrie match, I really felt like maybe, you know, the juice in Zverev's tank is going to run out. He's going to come up to Alcaraz that can go for 4 hours non-stop, blasting forehand, big server. And that was the opposite. Zverev came out very aggressive, executed really well, and he played, like I said, a flawless match, you know. So hats off to him. He's going in and he's playing Daniel Medvedev in the semifinals. You know, 2 Russian players. One is German, one is Russian, but they know each other pretty well. They know each other's game styles, and you know, I think again, if Zverev can get into that match and he can be aggressive and don't allow Daniel to play from the back foot and dominate or neutralize situations and prolong the match, then I think he can make damage again. You know.
Medvedev and Zverev, of course, in the semifinals, but the other big one is Djokovic versus Sinner.
Oh wow! And that's the one that I said to you, you know, that stands out for me, just because of how Sinner ended last year in the Nito finals. He beat Novak, you know, and it's like he elevated his game. He really struggled to find sort of consistency during the year, especially 2022 and the start of 23. But as 23 progressed, Sinner just became better and better. He made some changes in his coaching camp and how he approached certain things. And, you know, the thing is with Sinner is, and he reminds me a little bit of Roger Federer, he generates power so easily. Everything is smooth. And if you watch him live, Andile, it's like the ball just explodes off his racket, you know. So He doesn't consume a lot of energy during matches. He's very efficient. And I think he will pose a big threat to Novak.
Well, I'm excited to see that one because, if it is the final that I'm hoping for as far as Medvedev and Djokovic is concerned, because that's what I'm hoping for, then it's going to be a reason to stay home to watch that one when coming Sunday. But let's talk a little bit now about the women's final because that's been decided.
Yes, so we've got a Chinese woman, Zhang, if you haven't heard of her. She's 21 years old, and this is a second quarterfinal, past the second quarterfinal. Obviously, she won the semifinal yesterday, and she's in the finals. And she's playing tremendous tennis. She came across Diana Yastremska, who was a qualifier, 93 in the world, and came through the qualifying rounds up to the semifinals. And that, I think a lot of people, and if you don't know tennis, how tough it is to get through 3 rounds of qualies and play 6 matches and get into the semifinals. So my hats off for Diana Yastremska. But Dan is playing unbelievable tennis, from a country that was put on the map through Lina, the former Chinese female player that represented China and like I said, put China on the map. Zhang is playing unbelievable tennis, and she's very mature for her age. She's only 21 years old. And, I think it is going to be a big clash with her and Sabalenka. And my money is on Sabalenka. I think, she won last year. And she sorted out a few things in her game and a mental approach on the serve and so forth. So my money is usually on a player that's been on that stage before and now how to handle the pressure, because it is totally different being in a Grand Slam final than being in a lower tour event final.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, Stephen. We're going to be speaking, of course, when all of this is wrapped up to reflect on it all. But so far, it's been a great one and always great talking to you. Go enjoy the summer Sunday. It only sets in about 6 hours, so enjoy Cape Town.
Thank you, Andile. Have a lovely evening.
We take a break. When we come back, like I said, do you know the name? If not, I hope after today, you will remember it.
Nobody does summer savings like MTN does summer savings. Get epic clarity even in low light with nightography and extend the fun with the all-day battery when you get the Galaxy S23 FE. Get it now for $549 per month for 36 months on an MTN Megatalk or Megagigs S plan, or trade in your device and pay $269 per month. Skip to the good stuff and visit an MTN store or mtn.co.za now. T's and C's apply. What are we doing today? MTN.
Success looks different for all of us. What we do have in common is our eagerness for a brighter tomorrow. A tomorrow where a parent's hope becomes a child's reality. A tomorrow where success is not just owning a degree, it's owning the pathway to the rest of your life. Own tomorrow with Richfield. Study an undergraduate or postgraduate degree online or on campus and get one step closer to a career defined by you. Ayifambeni. Apply today at richfield.ac.za.
Make every rand count with ShopRite's Essentials Combo. Swipe and save on the things you need most, like 700 grams Sasco brown bread, 150 grams Crystal Valley cheese slices, 100 grams 6-pack of Parmalat smooth dairy snacks, 750 grams Champion Polony, 6 eggs, 500 grams Delight medium fat spread. Buy all for 99 rand. Offer valid till 11 February 2024. Make every rand count with our low prices. Only at ShopRite.
Hold up. It's the touchdown with Tebow time.
We all got that item right on the shelves. We just can't get enough of it. I'm joined by Mapaseka and Molalo.
For me, the no flush toilet rubber ever.
Now, Mapaseka.
So basically what I'm talking about here is the lingerie. The ladies' lingerie. It's lingerie because next week on the 28th is my 6-year anniversary. So I'm planning a quite romantic getaway.
I know, wow. Mama
guys.
You still get that toilet flush wherever you go.
Yes.
You need it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The touchdown. Touchdown.
It's 24 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. It is Sports Not Amplified with Andile. I am Andile Ngube. Last week, I saw pictures and pictures and pictures at the School of Excellence, where over 8,000 kids had gathered for trials, for an opportunity for only 23 of them to go through and be chosen, picked to be members of that school. They arrived there at 8 in the morning, left at 8 in the evening for those that hadn't yet had their trial. They were not offered water. They were not offered any food. It was a blazing hot day as well. And I came onto this radio because I was not happy with how that was conducted. I'm a father. I know what that means. I go to these things with my kids when they have sporting days, and I know that I'm always running to the tuck shop to get water, to get all sorts of things. I wasn't happy with it. I did call them. We did hold them to account. We did have that conversation about how such things should not be done again. But in the midst of that, then we were told about, just up the road here from the SABC, Panorama did the same thing. They had kids come by and come have trials. And unfortunately, my biggest fear, because there were 3 kids that passed on after the trials out in the School of Excellence, driving back home, and sheer accident, and, we acknowledge it, but say that things like this could be avoided. And unfortunately, we heard of the Nkosi family. We briefly spoke to Ubaba Moses. Do we have that clip? I think we do have it. When we had a brief conversation with Bob Moses, and I didn't know the lengths of it. And I promised the family that we would give them the time. Because I think it's important not only for the story to be told, but for you as a parent, wherever you're sitting, getting ready to fulfill the dreams of your kids, as we all want to do, to know the dangers that lie around the corner, to be prepared for it, so that all of us can feed our kids' dreams safely so. I want to speak to Nkosi's father, Mr. Nkosi. Mr. Nkosi.
Good day, sir.
How are you, Mr. Nkosi?
I'm fine now, sir.
Mr. Nkosi, we've been trying to get a hold of you. I'm glad that we finally did. I'd like to pass my condolences to you, and please share the story of your son with us. What happened, Nkosi?
On Saturday morning, around past 7, that's when I left my son at Panorama.
I then stopped Wabunkosi Moses just before that because I didn't have the time for it at the time, and I didn't want to stifle your story. But kind enough, Moses Nkosi, Dela Nkosi, mother and father, Nomzwake, the big brother, are here with us. Nkosi, siyanibulisa.
Siyabongelela baba.
Inhliziyo ziyopha zibuhlungu sikhala nani ukuthi nilana ngento enje. Hayi ngoba nilana sizokhuluma ngokuthi the boy is going to play someplace, and this being a sports show, he is supposed to occupy the seat you're sitting on one day.
That's correct.
He was supposed to be sitting there talking to me about signing a big contract, and you maybe accompanying him to tell me how proud you are.
Yes.
But that's not how it happened. Moses, what happened?
Should I start telling the story from the onset?
Please, from the point that you woke up with your son that morning.
Yes, I woke up with my son in the morning. He knew about the trials. Anyway, he's too much into soccer. He sleeps soccer, he walks soccer, he does everything that he does soccer. If not soccer, it's music. He was saying, Dad, you know what, don't forget, on the 13th, there'll be trials. I need to be there. And I want you to come and watch me when I play. Saturday morning, woke up. On our way there, we arrived there around 7:15, 20%, but that was before 7:30. It was full of people, youngsters coming up with quantums, events and stuff like that. So I left him there around about 20%, but that was before 5:30 in actual fact. And then I left him, he was alone, and I left him, honestly speaking, with nobody. It's like I left my son at kind of, should I say, Kruger National Park, where there's strangers, there's nobody else that he knows, or maybe leaving him in America where there's nobody that he knows. He was determined, he training every day at 4:30, he's on the road, running and stuff like that. He said, Dad, I'm determined, I want to be the soccer legend. And when I left him, he was okay, he was fit, he was okay. match fit and stuff like that, because we were trying to work so hard on his stamina so that he could run like Zidane. That was one of his guys, especially the middle fit side. Lionel Messi, for Mbappe, and stuff like that. So that's the position that he liked the most to see himself in. When I left him, it was okay. We're busy chatting, talking, with SMSs, WhatsApp SMS. My last time speaking to him, we talked, it was 11:56, our last conversation. So I was asking him how things. He said that it's okay. Around about 1, I think everything will be over. And I'm nominated, so I'm selected in actual fact. So I'll be playing. I said, son, I'll see you around maybe in 1 hour's time. Said, Dad, it's okay, I'll be looking for you. That's when I left him. Around 1:15, I sent an SMS. He didn't respond. A few minutes from that, I think it was 3-4 minutes. I was like 10 minutes and less away from Panorama. I received a call from his brother Mzwaki. He said, Dad, please rush to the hospital. He said, what? He said, Dando collapsed. They tried CPR. I guess it couldn't work, but just come to the hospital. Then I was given a direction to that hospital. It's not far from Panorama. It's just like neighbor, like 5 minutes drive from the ground, from Panorama Club of football. When I reached there, my son was already gone. He was covered with a white sheet.
How old was Dando?
Dando was 15, going to turn 16 on the 20th of March. That was the saddest story ever of my life. I left my son fit, smiling. He was excited that day. Finally, you see here, I'm telling you, I'll be, one of the guys that will be nominated or selected. So, unfortunately, when I come back, my son was no more. And when we spoke with the guys, when I went to the hospital, I found a policeman there to open up a case, taking some statements, and the what do you call these ambulance guys? The paramedics. They said, no, sorry, Mr. Nkosi, and the doctor. So they said, sorry, Mr. Nkosi, we tried our level best. Unfortunately, Ntando couldn't make it. Why? They don't know. They say maybe it's the heart. They don't know. I was really, disturbed. Well, from there off, it was that, obvious crying and screaming and asking questions, but there were no answers. There was absolutely nobody from Panorama. It was just the guy from paramedics who brought him down to the hospital.
Do you know if the paramedics were at the trials?
We're not sure for sure. It's what we heard after the incident. It's what we heard, that now there were paramedics there, but we didn't see some point. And unfortunately,
so you don't know whether they were there when he collapsed or if they were called and came afterwards.
I'm not so sure if they were there.
Right, we're gonna call Richard Walker.
Yes, sir.
Who is the Football Academy at Panorama's founder, and he's going to be speaking to us because I'd love to know those answers.
Thank you.
Ma, where are you when you hear these news, Bella?
We should say past 1, past 12, 1, between 12 and 1. Lapho kungena i-call bangena i-call umfazi umlungu usimi, hello, are you Ntando's mom? Ngithi yes, I'm Ntando's mom. Athi, I'm sorry, Ntando was in an accident. He couldn't. Kushuthi mekezothi he couldn't. Bengihleli esofeni dining room. That's why I screamed and ngigijimela ukuthi mangithola umzwakhe asala ilalela le conversation, because mekethi accident mina I thought ukuthi unobabakhe endleleni ebuyayo balimele. So ngihlangane vele ngimemeze, ngihlangane nomzwakhe ngimnika ifone. After lokho umzwakhe kusho ukuthi manje umzwakhe uba busy naye efonini, sekangishiya umzwakhe athi mama ngiyabuya ngiyofuna i-transport ukuthi siye esibhedlela, ngizobuya ngizokulanda. So engibonile ukuthi umzwakhe mhlawumbe bese ekhulumile exoxile okuningi nalomfazi bekafihlela mina ngibona kusho sengiyapanic endlini, angisekho right. Ngizobona ngokungena manje kusho ukuthi batheme bethola Ntando ukuthi uthulile, sebafonela ama members efamily. ngizobona ngokungena ngawo ukuthi man there's something wrong here ngomntwana, I understand. Hayi bangene baphelele bathi basendleleni abobaba babuye bangena abobaba ngiye ngabheka nje ubaba emehlweni ngabona ukuthi umntana akasekho, then angizange saba right.
Are you satisfied with Panorama and the answers they've given you, if they've given you answers at all, as to why umntana kingasekho?
Yes, but Panorama masifika besichazela thina bathi untando wengenile groundini kuthe kungakapheli ne3 minutes wa collapse. Babiza bona ama paramedics bathi bawabizile ama paramedics ukuthi eze la.
So bewangekho.
Yeah, siwabizile kanjalo understanding yabo, then bathi bebabaningi bamthatha bamisa change room. So i-question esayibuza ukuthi uthulele lana na, uyabona? Uthulele la egroundini na, bathi no, la uphume ephila kusho uthulele esibhedlela.
Guys, obviously, for you listening, this could be very triggering and understandably so, but no child that leaves their family fit, that leaves their family having trained for weeks, never ever a medical issue, passes on, but there should not be that there's no answers. There should not be that somebody can explain. Richard Walker joins us now. Richard, thanks so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adela, and salute to listeners, Mr. Koji, again, yeah.
Richard, just for clarity, what is it that you do at Panorama Football Academy?
Well, firstly, Adela, we're not an academy, we're just a club.
Okay.
Just a club that play in the different leagues, the structures in the local league and in Gauteng, Joburg as such. I'm an executive member, ex-chairman of the club.
All right. What do you know about the occurrence of the day that we speak of when Untando came for trials there?
What would you like to know from
I mean, just from
Untando himself?
Yeah, from Untando point of view. I mean, I can imagine the picture's been painted as far as everything else is concerned. You guys were hosting open trials. There was lots of kids, parents. I can imagine some that stayed behind that came on. And from what you've heard, if we're trying to get answers as to what happened to Untando, what is your understanding? Were you there on the day?
Unfortunately, I wasn't there. I'd left the trials to go take our other team out. They were playing away. So I went to go and watch them. But I was there at the start. And obviously kind of got feedback or news as things were happening and then rushed back to the club as such.
Please tell us, I mean, you've done your due diligence, you've spoken to your members, and I'm sure they've spoken to you and told you how it all transpired. Please do share with us.
Angela, firstly, we have a very close coaching staff and executive committee that were there at the time. You can imagine with the number of kids that did arrive and the number of kids that were turned away because they didn't have the right documentation.
Do you have those numbers for me, Richard, as to how many kids came through?
Look, we're looking probably just under 1,000 kids that came through. We obviously stopped trials at we stopped trials after this incident happened. Nobody could take the field. Nobody would want to take the field. In Tondo, like I think you mentioned it earlier, nobody deserves to go to a football game to play and not return home. We're hurting. As a club, we're hurting. As an individual, I'm hurting. As a club, we're upset and we're angry, as to why this young talent can't showcase his talent further, and it's been brought to an end. So we are hurting.
From what you've heard, Richard, was he on the field running? Was he busy taking part in a game, or was he sitting aside? Can you just try and explain to us what your coaches have then told you about Untando?
Short and delay. I've got, and again, Untando took the field at about 12:10. It was his turn for Charles. He got onto the field. He then, at about 12:12, he went into some sort of epileptic fit and collapsed. 12:12, exact time that we phoned the ambulance, bearing in mind that we had first responders on the pitch at the time who ran over, put him into a recovery position, and at the same time the second responder was phoning the ambulance because this isn't a normal situation where a kid goes on and has a fit with nobody around him as such. We then assisted, he was awake. He was awake. We assisted to put him on the stretcher and took him straight into our change room, out of the sun into the change room. Then medical assistants arrived. I don't know if I can mention the name of the medical company, but the ComMed arrived at about 12:20. They reported in at about 12:17 to say they were 3 minutes out. 12:20 they arrived. At 12:32, Ntando stopped breathing. The paramedic asked our first responder, the ComMed paramedic asked our first responder to start CPR, which he did. At 12:37, Netcare 911 arrived and CPR duties were handed over to Netcare paramedics. Life paramedics then arrived and ER24 arrived, all to assist, including Honeydew CPF, which is our police forum, also arrived at the time. And Ntando's heart rate came back. It came back, but within three minutes, it stopped again, and CPR was administered again, and the decision was taken by the paramedics to let's get him to the hospital, and were pumping his heart, giving him CPR as he was loaded into the ambulance, which was 13:01, and he arrived at Vehicle Hillville Hospital at 13:04. The hospital's just up the road, as Mr. Corsi mentioned. Our first responder, our coach, went with Ntando, but was informed about 15 minutes later that Ntando had indeed passed on, which ultimately a shock.
I want to just take a quick break, Richard. When we come back, I just have a couple of questions because I just need to, and I want to understand the conditions in and around a trial with, 1,000 kids. Which just very much like I said to the guys at the School of Excellence last week, is absurd to me that we think we could be able to have the ability to control, to safe keep 1,000 kids. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go into it.
Hi, this is the General, Teko Modise, and I'm bringing you an exhilarating display of skill. With Hollywood Bets Football X, my new game, hear the crowd roar. Each time I kick up and cash out before the ball drops to claim your victory with a max payout of up to 5 million rand. Play online now.
Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Join the Best Value Network with Telkom and save up to 300 Rand when you purchase any selected Telkom prepaid device at our participating retail partners. Plus, you get free 5 gigabytes anytime data, 5 gigabytes night surfer data, and a 25-minute all-network voice bundle once off with every purchase. Offer available at your nearest PEP, Ackermans, TFG, Mr. Price, and other participating retail stores. Get it now.
Switch to new Spar Rewards and get a whole lot more with 3 days of even more from 26 to 28 January. Like Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls, 18s for just $119.99, and Huggies Gold Nappy Pads, Jumbo Pack for only $189.99. New Spar Rewards. Sign up for more.
They say grass will never grow on a busy road. This will be the case at the Stad Shabbat Dalma when the draft boards collide with the Pink Soldiers. The two giants occupy second and third positions, but they are already thinking about the top spot. This is the halfway mark of the top 14. Bordeaux-Bègles versus Stade Francais. The Saturday, 27 January at 4 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Switch to new Spar Rewards and get a whole lot more with 3 days of even more from 26 to 28 January. Like 800 gram Nescafe Coffee, just $84.99, and 2.25 liter Coke, plus any 2 Fanta, Sprite or Stony Regular, all 3 for 55 Rand. New Spar Rewards. Sign up for more.
Listen closely, lovies. Let me put you onto something called Take a Lot and unlock a world of options to shop anything beauty and skincare, appliances, big or small. If you can think it, they've probably got it. Even beats for your ears or speakers for your picnic. They'll bring it straight to you wherever you are, or you can collect nationwide. Take a Lot Mzansi and find everything you need online.
Save up to 40% on back-to-school essentials at Checkers and Checkers Hyper. Get deals like 500 sheets of Typec copy paper for $69.99 and a Casio scientific calculator for $259.99. Save 30%. January is better at Checkers. Deals valid until Sunday.
Hashtag Throwback Thursday on Sports Night Amplified with that delay on Metro FM. Powered by SABC Sport.
Ndandogayise Buyekaya Kingsley Nkosi, your name will not be in vain. We will shout your name as we were supposed to years from today. Somebody just sent me a message saying, chasing a dream should never end like this. Richard Walker, an executive out at Panorama Football, is with us now, the club. Of course, they were hosting these trials that had thousands of kids come in to try and get an opportunity to get into some sort of formalized football. The reason these conversations began is everywhere I go around the country, every time parents see me, they say, Andile, my child is good. What do I do? I never know what to say because as a father myself who takes my kids to trials, I loathe having to do it and I worry about it. But Richard, answering our questions, appreciate it for you giving us the time. Richard, I mean, I just want to get the conditions in and around this. Do you guys offer these young people some sort of refreshments and food as they wait? I mean, I can imagine those hours are long.
I don't think the hours are long as such. I mean,
what time do they arrive there?
Well, it depends what time the kids arrive. The trials, we closed the gates at quarter to 9. We wanted everybody there at 8 o'clock.
And then they're going up until what time?
You probably well. Firstly, Andile, we didn't expect that amount of kids. To tell you the truth, it almost doubled to what we had last year. So you're probably looking at about 2 o'clock. Those kids would have finished up on trials.
That's a 7-hour day. I mean, Dando got there at 7:30. That's a 7-hour day. If there is to be no food and refreshments, so as far as that is concerned, it is a long day. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, there is food and refreshments there, Andile.
Oh, there is food and refreshments provided to the kids.
Not provided, but there's food and refreshments that are there. There's water. There's a running kitchen that the kids can buy. It's fully equipped.
And there's shade for them to sit in between the waiting.
Shade and everything to sit while they wait, fully on delay.
Yeah, because one of the things that we got, Richard, and the reason I'm asking you this is, a lot of the kids that had gone there, obviously, if you look at how they got there, they have no money on them. They're just trying to, get their dreams. They weren't able to buy food or refreshments, and they did complain about there being no shade, that they were sitting in the sun for 5 hours, some said. And I think even when I asked the parents here who went, Moses, who was the father who dropped him off, said no, he was sitting in the sun for that entire time as well. I mean, these are conditions that, and don't get me wrong, Richard, I'm not in any way putting a spotlight on you guys, just highlighting the conditions that, we as a football community are forced to be put under because of lack of other people doing these trials and taking on kids. And this is a situation that we're trying to avoid for those that are doing it and in the future as well. So those conditions would not be necessarily ideal, I'm sure you agree, if that is the case.
Ideally, 100%. I totally agree that the football community around us and those that maybe perhaps at the higher levels need to take note of what's happened at the School of Excellence and what happens trials throughout. I can only speak on behalf of on Gauteng, on behalf of Panorama. The amount of kids that come through the door there, Andile, you must understand, we get phone calls from KZN, from Mpumalanga, from Port Elizabeth, asking to come to Panorama, and we have to say to them that we don't accommodate. We don't have accommodation. We don't have, we don't do schooling. And in fact, I think it was probably a few years ago, we had 3 kids arrive from KZN the night before the trials, that we actually took them to the police station, and they slept at the police station because they were coming to have a trial at a small amateur club. It amazes me, to tell you the truth, Andile, and where we are as a football community in this country.
But Richard, let's agree on one thing. The way that you had trials, very similar to what they did at the School of Excellence, is not correct. Number one, not only for what you put the kids through, but also from a footballing point of view, to give those kids 10, 15 minutes every other hour and progress to the stages, is the anxiety that's building up from having sat there, some having eaten for those hours because they didn't have the money to buy all of those things, and they're sitting there for that long, tired, hungry, then they have to go in there and play football. Surely, even if it was the half that you'd expected, that's 500 kids, surely that's not the way?
Until at the end of the day, the kids who come there, if they didn't have money, we're not aware of if they didn't have money, if they weren't eating, if they weren't drinking, we weren't, we as a club, there's refreshments there, there's open water as well, it breaks my heart to say that you're telling me that the kids are sitting there hungry and everything like that. If that's
Richard, you know the circumstances of this country. You know the circumstances of this country. Kids were there in quantums, that hired taxis that their parents had paid for them to be able to get there. Those conditions, and that's what I'm trying to get at, Richard, to say, not just you, but every that hosts those conditions should not be the standard quo, so to speak, in this country, and not even with Panorama.
I think, say they drive in quantums and taxis, the parents have paid for. You also have to remember a lot of those quantums and the taxis that arrived were actually organized through football agents. And they had made promises to the parents of kids. That's what we started to pick up, that some of these guys are coming in with full teams and with a promise of playing GVL football. We can't control that at all.
So you don't think that having open trials to say, hey, anybody that wants to be a part of here, knowing very well the conditions, not only in footballing wise, but financial conditions and the social, economic conditions of this country, is just waiting for tragedy to happen? I mean, you're saying you were expecting 500, Richard. Even 500 is a lot.
I go back to what you said at the start. And I think we should produce a phone earlier on, but I said to Mr. Nkosi, Ntando's story needs to be told. Ntando's story needs to be told not just here at Panorama, not just in Gauteng, not just in the bigger provinces, but the entire South Africa needs to understand Ntando's story, that every single person within the football community, including the parents, can understand the story and try and rectify certain things.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Hence, I'm pointing out the things that I think are a part of what needs rectifying. And what we speak of now is those. I mean, if you're inviting somebody over and you're saying, hey, I've got an opportunity for something, surely, the bare minimum is, I remember when we were younger, even if it's just a couple of oranges, that, this keeps you hydrated, this keeps you a little, full at least to get you going, sit in the shade. Those kinds of things are just the basics, humanity for people that are as young as Dando, 15, 14, 16, that showed up to your trials. And then I wonder, Richard, if we don't agree on that, does this mean we're going to be seeing next year again when you have trials, 500, 1,000 kids?
I'm with you. I am with you. I mean, we're a membership club, and all those kids that came for trials, including our flyers, as we're a membership club, and these things are not for free. As in, if you join the club, there's a membership fee you have to pay. So our assumption would have been that a lot of these kids coming through would have 8 in the morning would have food. But at the same time, I'm hearing what you're saying about the country that we live in and certain things that, hindsight's a great thing. Should there be oranges there? Should there be, just a couple of snacks to go on? I suppose we have to agree. But, ultimately, Ntando's story should be told and should be told in a way that everybody understands.
What assistance did you guys offer the parents after you had heard about Ntando?
We obviously met with. I spoke to Ntando's brother, and then I've been in touch with the dad.
What assistance did you offer them?
When you say assistance, Andile,
of any form, Ntando passed away. He was with you guys. He was under your care. Was on your premises when the incident firstly occurred. When you were speaking to the family, did you offer him any assistance of any sort besides calling and asking how they are?
Again, I'm just trying to understand the word assistance in what way, because we obviously met with the family. They came through to the club. We worked with them. We obviously walked the club and showed them when Ntando had collapsed. We've offered our emotional support. I've been in touch with Mr. Nkosi throughout, and him with myself, and me having my own kids. We were asked to speak at Ntando's funeral. But these are all emotional support, all emotional things that any...
You didn't offer them any financial support? You didn't offer them to... You didn't offer them, because, as you would know as well, both of us have kids, that no one's ever prepared for something like this. In January, when it happens, under your care, were you able to say, hey guys, I can imagine you're not prepared for this. Is there anything we can do to help? Can we perhaps, pay for the flowers? Is there anything other than us being here that we can do? Did you guys offer anything like that to show this remorse that you're feeling?
I don't think remorse is done financially, to tell you the truth, Andile.
I don't think so either, but I'm asking if you did.
I think remorse has been there for the family when they needed us, and talking to them, and Mr. Nkosi phoning me and saying, the Sweatman's going to phone you, Richard, can I give you your number? That's the kind of support. The support that I promised them that Ntando's story would be told. The support that I gave them, that I would be standing with Panorama as such, would stand with them as a family.
So that's a no.
But we have, like I said, it's emotional support we're giving them.
Okay.
On the 30th of March, Mr. Nkosi is well aware, is the opening day of the season, and we've dedicated that day to Ntando. It's called the Ntando Nkosi Day. We've dedicated that day where Mr. Nkosi and his beautiful family will be coming along, so we can again have a minute's silence before each of the games to remember Ntando and tell the story of what happened, and make parents aware of the underlying condition that Ntando had, so that we can look for these signs, to tell you the truth. And so,
Richard, listen, like I said at the beginning, and anybody listening to this might think that, a very unfair position that we put in Richard in, but it's not a Richard thing. It is the way in which this is done, and it's done throughout the country, and we're asking ourselves and we're trying to figure out, what is there a better way? How do we do it better? Richard, I'll be there on that date in March, and I hope to meet you, and I hope to find solutions to this as well. But to you and Panorama, I hope that we find a way better to do things. For those that ask me, how do I get in? I hope that I'm going to tell them to go to Panorama, because this is the way they do things, and I hope that it's different.
Andile, we would welcome you there. And Andile, honestly, I'm glad to hear what you're doing, because we'll work with you 100% to make sure that the football community around this country realizes that maybe we need to run trials a bit differently.
Richard Walker, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's 18:58. We've got to get off in just a while. And Mzaki, when as Umfwabo, having to hear this firsthand and hiding it from Mumma, what's sad here and what I'm seeing, Moses, Bella, Mzaki, is that we'll never know what happened to Ntando.
True.
We'll never know.
No.
Your little brother, gone. and there's no recourse for it.
Nothing.
You know, all I can take is the word of Richard saying there was a first responder, there was a second responder, and I'm hoping that Panorama, I mean, it's an establishment that is known, and I'm hoping that in that way they're carrying on. But before I do go, Mzwakhe, what would you like to say for those that are hearing your brother's name for the first time? Can you quickly tell us about him?
All right, so my little brother was born on the 28th of March, same day as me, on my birthday. And he grew up as a good kid, like any other kid. All of us as family supported him in his dreams, and I'm also a guy, so I was always there for him to be better than I ever was, right? To try protect him from any other things. But yeah, he grew up loving soccer. I remember his first ball was a small one. We bought it. Yeah, he was very young. I was crying for it. It was that Adidas one, close to World Cup. Yeah, somewhere there. And ever since, he's been there. So as time goes, always playing soccer at school. His shoes always torn. You know, those type of things. And his turnover was not so long ago. I would say 2 years ago, because last year he was with Prestige. Last year was with Prestige. Then last year we couldn't really pay because there are requirements were a little bit heavy on the family, so we couldn't really pay. And I hooked him up with a friend of mine that I went to school with. That was his coach, right? Offense Munare. He's with Prestige now. So that's when he started pushing, and he did all he could, and then the season ended in December. They closed. Last year we couldn't pay for it, but this guy was busy calling me and pestering me. My guy, if Ntando doesn't make it, I have you to play. I want him on the team. Ntando is an excellent player. He has to come. And he never gave up. He never really gave up on my boy. And I was, even when I'm chilling with James, wherever I met, I would ask, what do you do? I'm in soccer. Okay. Here's my boy, would you do something for him and everything? The last one was just at the barber. I spoke to this other guy, called him, he advised me to buy him some cones so that he can train alone, and so on and so on. So last year he didn't like sitting down and lazing around, and I also always encouraged him to be doing something with his life, because we stay in Soweto. We know how life is that side. People if your peers are into something, you're easily influenced. So I tried my best to get him off the streets, right? And then he joined boxing. Started boxing, recruited his boy here, Bonga. They went together every day. So his daily routine was wake up at 4:30, leave the house around 5:05, tell his boy I'm going to jog, come back, bath and get ready for school. After being ready for school, he tells his boy, I'll see you later. We'll talk later. When he comes back and plays. They play online, FIFA. They play FIFA online. Around about 4-ish, they leave to the gym. They come back around 6.
So he's a dedicated man.
Dedicated man.
You're going to miss him?
A lot.
Bella?
Baba?
You've already been very emotional. Yeah. Moses?
Say.
This is going to live forever, this conversation.
Yeah. True.
And because of the Nkosi family, I've got a feeling things will change in this country and how they handle our kids. I appreciate you guys coming on.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Faith is up next. Terribly sorry, couldn't have chit-chat there because, we had to complete this one. Pela, and course.
Welcome to the Urban Rhythm Revolution.
Listen,
Metro FM.
I'm the greatest of all time.
For all things urban,
I love this station.
It's where you want to be.